You may have a stowaway in your bar cart. I was surprised to discover that the Jefferson Ocean Rye is actually a Canadian whiskey. Now, in honor of Canadian Whisky Week, I was thinking it'd be cool to highlight a Canadian whiskey, but I didn't think I had any. And since the Jefferson Ocean Rye is a very recent acquisition to my collection, I was doing a little research on it and I discovered that it is, in fact, a product of Canada. Oh, Canada. So little did I know, I had a Canadian whiskey all along. So let's give it a pour. Now I always think of ocean voyages as being a first-class fancy experience. This just smells like one of those high-class s'mores. Like you go to some fancy restaurant, they have this elevated dessert, this lovely s'more, where they have like homemade graham cracker, homemade marshmallow, a little bit of caramel drizzle or something. It's just sophisticated vanilla, wonderful toasted grain from the rye, just a little bit of spice. And then one thing I love about the Ocean series is with them going on a very long ocean voyage, it does pick up just a hint of salinity. So you have a slight bit of salt with the caramel, and then almost like a pink peppercorn, right? Like it isn't just a pure white pepper heat. It's a little, again, elevated, a little more sophisticated, like a pink peppercorn. So on the palate, this really isn't too light. It's almost syrupy in quality. This would make a really nice gateway rye. It's not too peppery, there's not too much spice in here, but you definitely get the spice. There's some vanilla, something about the texture of it, the thickness. It really just feels like everything fits and flows. There's this nice orange flavor to it that almost approaches like chocolate covered orange, but somehow it doesn't quite make it to chocolate, if that makes sense. Like there's a little bit of darkness, like you've got more like the heavier baking spices, little cinnamon on that s'more, like a little bit of high-end flaky salt that's been sprinkled on there. In the winter when you have those simmering pots going with like a little bit of dried fruit, a little bit of spices, usually it's like dried oranges in there, and it's been simmering for a while, it's gotten a little thick. It's not too sweet, not too spicy. Again, perfect gateway rye. What a delightful surprise realizing that I actually do have some Canadian whiskey. And while many Canadian whiskeys are ryes, they are not all rye. This one just happens to be. So look around your bar, just see. Maybe you've got a Canadian whiskey. I feel like they are a little overlooked, so I was excited to see that there was a dedicated Canadian Whiskey Week, and I can't wait to scroll around and see some more selections from people as to some of their favorite Canadian whiskeys. But thank you so much for joining me on this voyage, and I can't wait to see you next time.